Aloha, Dylan. It was wonderful seeing you. Make sure that our ukes in order. Here's our high G. Here's our C. The E string, or the E note. E natural, and then A natural. I generally play a C major chord. Sounds like it's in tune. All right, so wonderful job today. I could very much tell that you've been practicing, which makes me super happy. As somebody who loves music, watching the aha moment like what we had today, just where you're like, oh, well, that makes sense. This stuff doesn't have to click or make sense right away. However, over a period of time and layer caking all these different ideas, you're left with this huge stack of pancakes that you can devour. Or another way to put it, all the information that doesn't make sense, like a major triad, just means that the more you hear us talk about it, like in the key of C major, I could say C has no sharps and no flats. It's all white keys on a piano. Or it has no sharps or flats. It's all natural notes. So we've got a C natural, D natural, E natural, F natural, G natural, A natural, B natural, C natural. All of those contribute to do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. C to C sharp is a half step or a minor second. C to D is 2 minor seconds. A C to a C sharp, minor second. C sharp to a D, minor second. What's a half plus a half? A 1. So what we're doing here is we're just adding up frequencies. Our first frequency goes from a C to a D. That's a whole step. Our D to an E flat or a D sharp, both have the same name, we'll get into that later, is a half step. Well, when we skip a figure, skip a fret, it makes a whole step. So C, D, E. The only caveat is we don't generally play the do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do in the key of C with the 4th fret E. You can, but we play with the open E because the pattern actually just gets moved up. So I'm doing the same exact pattern this whole time, moving my fingers up 1 half step at a time, right? So the tones are always whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. So when we see this, we have a whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. No matter where you do this, it will lead you to having a major chord, an Ionian chord, a scale. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. So when we're doing this, if you were to hear do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, it still sounds major. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. But it doesn't have all natural notes now. Notice how that B is now a B flat. You can't have a flat or a sharp chord and have it also be a natural note. Meaning, in C major, C, skip the D, E, skip the F, G. Get rid of my 2 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. C, D, E, F, G. C, D, E, F, G. C, D, E, F, G. Get rid of my D and my F. I have C, E, G, which is my C, E, G. That makes a major triad. So the takeaway today is all tones, when they're put together, make chords. You only need 3 tones, the 1, the 3, and the 5, to make a major. The 1, flat 3, and the 5 make a minor. So C major has a C minor. D major has a D minor. E major has an E minor. F major has an F minor. G major has a G minor. A major has an A minor. B major has a B minor. And then back to that C. So what we learn is there's 2 types of chords that you and I talked about today. Majors and minors. Here's a major. C major. Here's another major you know. F major. And then minors, you know a minor and a D minor. D minor looks like an F major, but you put your 2nd finger down on the 2nd fret on the thick string, the D string, to make a D note. Here's why. C, go up a minor 2nd, that's a C sharp. Go up a major 2nd, that's a D. All right? So what I'd like you to do is use your fingers, finger 1, to keep going with your spider exercises. Maybe this time after doing them up and down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4, bum, 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 bum. Maybe do 4 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, do, 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 do. Quarter, 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 quarter. You can even do half notes. Half note, half note, half note, half note. Those are counted on the 1 and the 3. All of the lessons from Spider 1 and Lesson 2 with the teeter-totters are going to work together with every single chord we learn. And by the time we get done doing this, you're going to see why I'm showing you the Spidey exercises. Now, you know the F major and you know the C major. When you do your Spidey exercises and you make it all the way up here to the A string and stop on your 3rd finger, that's the finger that feels the most comfortable on that C major. When you're playing, let's say, the F major, if you get your fingers going, notice how your 2nd finger ends on the 2nd fret A string. That's where you're going to play your 3rd for an F major. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, flat, C, D, E, and F again. If you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you get rid of your 2 and your 4, you're getting rid of your G and you're getting rid of your B, which leaves F, A, C. F, A, C is what note you're playing: F note, A note, and open C note, F major. So what I'd like you to do is take your lesson 2, which is called teeter-totters, to play your F major, 2, 3, 4, and do 1, switch, keep the right hand going, 1 and 3 and 4. So if I count 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, the right hand's going to be going up and down. And 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, always on the 1. And what we're going to do is on the and, we're going to switch our fingerings from teeter-totter. F, 1, 2. So here we go. 1 and 2 and keep the right hand going with 1 and 2. Keep the right hand going with F and 2. Keep the right hand going and F, switch 2. Keep the right hand going and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and F and 2. Now keep that going. Now let's do a D minor. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and it's okay for these fingers to take a little bit of time and layer. What we're doing is, as long as we keep this hand going, this chord right here can take all the time in the world, because we have an additional and 2 and 3 and 4 and between playing on the 1. Do you see what we're doing here? Let's say we played all the chords we knew, like the C major. 1 and 2, and here's the F and 3 and F and 2 and 3, and now the D minor. D minor, 2, 3, do, do, and now the A minor. Do, 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 back to the C major. Do, 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 to the, let's say, D minor. Do, 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 to the A minor now. Notice how my hand is still going. Now here's my F major. Dun, 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 dun. Now back to the C major. Dun, dun. So you know these 4 chords, right? C major, F major, A minor, and D minor. So do your teeter-totters for every one of them. It might seem weird to do it for your C by going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. What it's going to do is going to trigger your brain to start changing your fingerings on the and of these beats. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Here's the purpose why. This is an example of all the time distinguishers and the measures done with just 2 hands with a chord you know. Let's do it with the D minor. 2, 3, 4 on the 1, 2, 3, 4. This has 4 beats, but I'm only playing the 1. I'm letting the rest of the beats decay, which means this note is legato. Keeps on going until it ends. If I were to just go and cut it off, it would be called staccato. It still has the amount of beats in between, but it doesn't ring. Understood? So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, switch 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, switch 2. These are whole notes. If I were to be doing the switch with the half notes, I'd still be switching on the and, except I'll be playing on the downstroke on the 1 and the 3 with 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and these are half notes playing on the 1 and the 3. 1 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3. Now if I was going to go from whole notes 2, 3, 4 to half notes, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 to quarters, I would be changing my chord in between each one, going on the down, 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 because there's 4 quarter notes in 4/4. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. After that, we have eighth notes. Now for this exercise, it gets a little bit more complicated, and you don't have to do this by any means, but this is what we would like to get to. I'm going to slow down these quarters just a little bit for explanation purposes. When I do this, I'm still going to be moving my hand on my left hand this way, but my right hand's going to go down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, and I'm going to count it. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, and these are called eighth notes because it's right after a quarter. So now in review, we've got whole note, half note, quarter note, eighth note, and then 16th. What you might have noticed is the eighth notes, when I count those, I go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and just so it's easier with the 16th notes, I'm speeding up the eighth notes twice as fast. So instead of going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, I go 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E. And it sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1E and a 2E and a 1E, 2E. See how a lot faster that goes? Now here's the thing. The faster you start with your whole note, the faster it makes those 16th notes at the end. I hope that made sense. Other than that, keep practicing your teeter-totters this week. I'm going to do a couple with you. Follow along. Then I'll see you next week. C, 2, 3, 4. C, 2, 3, 4. C, 2, 3, 4. C. Now I'm going to go to my, let's say, D minor. D minor, 2, 3, 4. 1, switch, keep that right hand going. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3. How about the F major now? 1, 2, 3. I was a little late on the draw there. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Now we could go to the A minor. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and I know it feels weird with the pinky. You'll hardly ever play that A minor with your pinky, but just getting a little stronger with the finger momentum and dexterity builds muscle memory for us. And remember what I explained today. Muscle memory is quite literally when you put your fingers down, the muscles in your hands start to do something they've never done before. You're programming your brain to write something called a neuron synapse. It allows you to do things quicker by not having to think about them, like breathing or walking or sneezing. They're involuntary at that point. They're just part of what we do. That's what music is. The more you practice something, by practicing the practice of practicing, you become better at doing that said item, whether it's hopping on one foot or playing a musical instrument. I'm really glad you enjoyed today. I'm glad you saw the piano and how it can be laid out vertically, and you're doing a wonderful job with your fingers. Keep that up. Keep going with these spider exercises, yeah? And keep doing these teeter-totters. Next week's chords are going to be G major and E minor. At that point, we have all the majors and minors. C major, D minor, E minor, F major, G major, A minor. Here's our special B diminished, and then a C again. Long story short, I'm really looking forward to seeing you next week. Have fun. Don't be overwhelmed with all this information. It doesn't matter if you know what things are called, but I can guarantee in a week or two from now, you're going to know exactly what a note is and a triad. You're going to know the difference between a C note and a C major chord. Anywho, it's wonderful seeing you. Practice Spideys, practice your teeter-totters. Aloha.